Welcome, one and all, to Hot Topics, the Don Lemon Show on the Don Lemon Channel here. We're so happy. Welcome to the morning. We are grateful that you're here every single day. But wait till you see what we have planned for you. You are going to be the most informed after you watch or during this show. You know, I always like to say class is in session right now. This is your morning routine, okay? So I'm glad that you guys are with us every single morning. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, the like. It does affect the algorithm. More people become aware of our channel, and that's very important because we tell the truth here. And we have a truth teller here that you are going to hear about. But first, let me tell you, I have been telling you guys that these representatives, these lawmakers are going back to their districts now, that Mike Johnson has let them go home early, and they are going to hear, and they're hearing an earful. Not all of them are public. I know they're hearing them privately. But last night in Nebraska, in Lincoln, Nebraska, this representative, Mike Flood, got an earful. This is a little bit of what he heard last night and the headwinds that he's facing. And then I'll tell you about our other big story. Watch this.
So my question is, did you read the bill?
I read the bill. I read the bills. Is every bill perfect? No, but I supported this bill. By the way, I think this is important. I cannot stress it enough because I think there's a lot of information out there that's wrong. We protected Medicaid. We cut $2 trillion out of the future debt. We worked to get results, and this bill builds for growth.
Okay, so tone deaf. There we go. Doesn't understand what the people. He thinks that he's doing a great job. He thinks that he is saving democracy, and that Republicans are on the right side of history. But he is wrong. So wait till you hear about that. And then there's this: Democrats have left the state of Texas, and Republicans are responding by formally issuing warrants for their arrest. So we have a representative who left the state, is in New York in an undisclosed location. You heard from her yesterday, and she has been speaking truth to power in the way that the American people want. This is what she said yesterday. She is here live. Stand by. Here it is.
I'm a lawyer. A part of my practice is criminal defense work. There is no felony in the Texas Penal Code for what he says. So respectfully, he's making up some shit. Okay? He's trying to get sound bites, and he has no legal mechanism. And if he did, subpoenas from Texas don't work in New York. So he gonna come get us how? Subpoenas in Texas don't work in Chicago. He's gonna come get us how? So let me be clear. He's putting up smoke and mirrors, and I'm hopeful that the media doesn't follow that. I will also say this.
Representative Jolanda Jones joins us live right here this morning on the Don Lemon Show on Hot Topics. Thank you for joining us. Good morning to you, ma'am.
Hey, good morning. I have been waiting for this moment. Thank you for inviting me.
Now, you know, I've been waiting for this moment to be by your side. Your best friend wrote and told me. Do you know that song? You had teardrops in your dad is home. Is that
Yes.
That's Jermaine Jackson, isn't it? Anyway, Representative, thank you. Representative, you are speaking truth to power. And I'm so glad that you're here. When I heard that soundbite yesterday, I said, you need to run for president of the United States. That is the energy the American people want. Do you understand that?
I have learned that if I did not understand it.
Yeah, go on.
I mean, you know, it has just been, it was interesting because I wasn't supposed to really speak. You know, we had this plan, and I just thought that they have targeted Black and brown people, and actually LGBT people in Texas. And I happen to be the first Black openly LGBT person in the Texas legislature. And we're invisible all the time. And when they were just talking generally, I think that people want to know specifically how what we're doing in Texas is hurting us. And they have literally pitted Black congresspeople, Congresswoman Crockett and Congressman Vesey, both Black out of the Dallas area. They pitted them against each other to only have one Black congressperson in that area. Then they targeted Texas, where they have Congressman Al Green and what used to be Congresswoman Sheila Jackson-Lacey, and they targeted them. So they literally are trying to wipe out 2 Black seats. And unless you've walked in our shoes, you don't understand. The same with Hispanics. If you haven't walked in their shoes, you don't understand. And we need to talk about that. But people don't want us talking about this. They don't want to talk about racism. Everybody, like, the worst thing you can call a racist is a racist. And they don't want to. And what they want to say all the time is, oh, you're pulling the race card. And this is what I have to say to people who say we're pulling the race card. I will pull that damn card from the bottom of the deck, the top of the deck, the middle of the deck, as long as you keep being racist. If you don't want me to pull the damn card, then stop being racist. And the only way that you're able to give Trump 5 seats, which he does not deserve, he's stealing like he stole those 3 seats in North Carolina, is to literally identify Black and brown concentrations of people, divide them, crack them, pack them in other districts with a bunch of white people, and then you steal seats. You a thief, you always been a thief, and as long as I can help you ain't gonna steal no seats in Texas. And people need to say that. People are trying to make us feel guilty or some sort, like you can't say racism. The hell, when y'all stop being racist, I will stop calling you racist. And that's what it is. And that's what this is about. And it's illegal, it's unconstitutional. And the Supreme Court, and I said this yesterday, people started laughing. I've like been a lawyer for 30 years. The Supreme Court under Donald Trump, which he owns, has now said political gerrymandering is constitutional, which is really not, but okay, because he's bought and paid for that. So the only thing that's left is racism. That's still unconstitutional, although I'm not certain that it will stand after that Louisiana case is going up to the U.S. Supreme Court. So we need to call racism what it is, and nobody wants us to say it, and I'm saying it. And yesterday was just, I just exploded with anger because people aren't calling it what it is, and we've got to speak truth to power, and we cannot be afraid. And if our allies feel unnerved about it, maybe they're not our allies. So if you had felt some kind of way about me saying that this is racist, then maybe you need to look at yourself, because the thing we need from allies is support of us. And the problem is when allies want to speak for us, okay, you can't. And so yesterday, it was raw, it was real, and I'm just been very, very, very pleased at the response.
Well, Representative, yes, and you should be, but that is what people want. I don't think that you have to. I'm glad that you're speaking out and you're spitting this truth, as we say, you're telling these truths. I'm glad that you're doing that because, again, as I said, this is what people want. They're tired of everyone being cordial. They know that the Republicans are basically being outlaws right now, and they're outmaneuvering Democrats. Well, we will get to that later. But at first, I want you to hear from 2 people, okay? Because you mentioned, some of what they said and what they're doing. First, I want you to listen to, this is a Texas Governor, Greg Abbott, yesterday, and then we're going to hear from the President of the United States this morning. Here's Greg Abbott.
The second thing is far more serious, and that is what these Democrats have done. Just a small fraction of them were needed to break a quorum, and that small fraction is holding hostage legislation in the state of Texas, where we will be able to provide assistance and reform for all of the victims of that horrific flooding that we've had in the state of Texas. Our fellow Texans are being let down and not getting the flood relief they need because these Democrats have absconded from the responsibility, and I believe they have forfeited their seats in the state legislature because they're not doing the job they were elected to do.
Governor, let me...
Also, there's one more. There's another one. Do we have the second one where he talks about the felonies, Andy? Do we have that one?
You said in your statement that you put out today to all of them, in a letter to them, you said, in addition to abandoning their offices, these legislators may also have committed felonies. What is the felony? What are the penalties for this?
So very simply, it would be bribery if any lawmaker took money to perform or to refuse to perform an act in the legislature. And the reports are these legislators have been both, they sought money and they offered money to skip the vote, to leave the legislature, to take a legislative act. That would be bribery. And so the facts will have to come out. But I think based upon comments made by legislators themselves, they face a possibility of facing bribery charges, which is a second-degree felony in the state of Texas. There's one way to cure that, and that is if they get back to the state of Texas and make quorum today at a hearing that we have at
hearing at 3 o'clock. That was yesterday, so that did not happen. So he says that you guys are committing felonies.
First of all, he's a lawyer. He should know better. But he believes in political theater. And okay, fine. So no, we ain't. Let me be clear. We quorum broke before anybody decided they want to support us. It ain't our fault that people want to support what we're doing because they know we on the side of right. I'm not worried about him. At first, yesterday, so his story is changing, right? He's moving the goalposts. Yesterday, we were committing felonies because we left. Boy, bye. Let me be clear. I've been practicing law. Criminal defense is one of the areas that I practiced for almost 30 years. There is no law in the Texas Penal Code that covers this. So guess what? So what are you saying? You stomping your feet, and if you come back now, we'll absolve you of the felonies. He needs to go on. Like, I'm from the hood. I'm from the corner of a street called Scott and McGowan in 3rd Ward, Houston, Texas. I ain't scared. And let me tell you, I have grown up playing dominoes and spades because that's what we do in Texas. And you hear people bluffing. He ain't very good at bluffing. So whenever they have quorum, they call the house today, whatever time it is, because guess what? I ain't paying attention to it because I'm somewhere else. We gonna see if we show up. We'll see if his little veiled empty threats matter. And I'm telling you, they aren't. So he needs to keep it moving. And let me also say this. Greg Abbott is the con man. He's con man junior under Trump, because let me be clear. He could have put, and we the Democrats demanded that he put the flood relief first on the call. He did not. He wanted to hold us hostage. So guess what? The reason that the people in Kerrville aren't getting money is because you chose to play politics and rig the game so that Trump can remain in power after the 2026 elections. We see through you. I feel like I'm in the Wizard of Oz when they pull a little curtain back and you think Oz is like some really big guy and this little bitty man who has a Napoleonic complex. That's Greg Abbott. He needs to keep it moving because guess what? Game recognized game.
I love you. Here's Donald Trump.
Too bad.
How about Texas?
But no,
Now we're going to do mid-year or midterm gerrymandering based on that's going to be a quid pro quo or something with in blue states now, Mr. President. Did you?
Well, they did it to us. Those blue states that you're talking about. Somebody gave a good example. In Massachusetts, I got, I think, 41% of the vote. It's a very, blue state. And yet it's got 100% of Congress, 100%. So I got 41% or something. And yet 100% of Congress in Massachusetts. No, it shouldn't be that way. We should have a couple of Congress people, but we have none. And think of this, 100%. In Illinois, where you have probably the dumbest of all governors, Illinois, that guy is really the business is flowing out of his state. It's terrible.
Lord.
It's a terrible thing that Pritzker's doing. He was the black sheep of the family. They threw him out of the business. But in Illinois, what's happened is terrible, what they're doing. And you notice they go to Illinois for safety, but that's all gerrymandered. California's gerrymandered. We should have many more seats in Congress in California. It's all gerrymandered. And we have an opportunity in Texas to pick up 5 seats. We have a really good governor, and we have good people in Texas. And I won Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know. And we are entitled to 5 more seats.
I don't know. I have to check on that. And they expect...
Check it. Why don't you check it, Brian?
The fact checkers expect us to check everything you say on the phone.
I want you to
but
check
for 4 years, those fact checkers didn't fact check anything.
God. How much longer is this?
It was said about... we don't need to relitigate that either, but they expect fact checking.
Joe, why don't you check it, okay? Because I'd like you to. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, okay?
Okay. Let me just say this. That is, Joe Kiernan is a Donald Trump glazer. I call him, I don't mean to be disrespectful. This is for my audience, for Representative Closure. I call him Donald Trump D-Rider. But here's the thing. Donald Trump is dumb. He's dumb, but he is cunning. He's dumb, but dangerous in his ignorance and in his bigotry. What do you make of what he said? He deserves these 5 seats and that, go on.
So let me be clear. Donald Trump is not ignorant. He's a racist. He's been a racist his entire freaking life. They've shown him when he was a kid and he was a racist. When he came home, something happened in the car. And didn't he get sued in New York? He had judgments against him for being, wherever he got sued at, for being racist. So let me be clear. It's funny that he talks about how the governor is the black sheep of his family. Dude, that's what you are. Your mama said you were her dumbest kid, right? So, I mean, if your own mama said that about you, come on, man. We ain't stupid, right? But what's really, really, really interesting is he's actually politically brilliant. He knows how to push on the pulse of people's fear and their hate. And, you know, a black man ended up being president. A faction of white people woke up and they lost their minds. And they have been trying to put us back on the plantation since then. It is what it is. People don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. So Donald Trump, and here's something else I don't understand. Dude, you're a rich white dude. You stole most of your stuff. You ain't paid people. You are arguably the most powerful person in the world. You bully everybody, including people around the world. And you whining. Dude, you want, oh, they have too many seats. Oh, I'm the greatest. He reminds me of toddlers. No, toddlers can't really talk well. At what age is it where you can talk and you're like, I'm cuter than you, or I'm faster than you?
Well, he doesn't really talk well, Representative. I'm just saying.
Exactly. So, but he's at that age, like where he's 5 or 6, and he makes these statements that are easily disprovable, and then he expects for you to agree to them. Like, I have the highest approval rate. No, you don't. People can't stand you. That's why you're trying to rig the game right now, because you know you and your people about to lose Congress, and you know Congress can investigate you. You know Congress can impeach you. You know Congress can vote against your shit. It's that simple. So he needs to just go on, and I cannot stand a whiner at all, especially a rich. I mean, white men control everything in the world, even though they're not the majority of people. So you don't get to whine. And in fact, here's what I got to say, and I'm going to keep saying this. I need some grapes, some crackers, some salami, some cheese to go with all of that damn whining you doing. Keep it moving.
Oh my gosh, how refreshing are you? No, seriously, and you're telling the truth. I'm wondering though, here's the thing. I'm wondering how long this will, how long you guys can hold out. And there was a conversation. This is a conversation that was on Fox yesterday, and I really do. I hate to play this for you early this morning, but I want you to respond to this. Here it is.
Well, hopefully she won't, but odds are that that is what's going to happen once everyone does eventually have to come home, whether that is tomorrow or it's in December, and they can hide out that long. And this isn't about populations coming in and out of blue states. It's about the fact that J.B. Pritzker can afford to do this. And when they went to D.C. a few years ago, they ran out of money. J.B. Pritzker's never running out of money, and he's got a bunch of Hyatt hotels, and they can each have a suite, and they can hang out there for as long as they need to. But the idea that people are watching this happen, or at least people who vote like I do or have similar values, to me, are seeing this just as people running away from their job is ludicrous. What they are seeing is the fact that Donald Trump called up Greg Abbott, and redistricting is supposed to happen once every 10 years. That's when the census happens. He's saying, I want a mid-cycle redistrict because I only have a three-seat majority, and I need a bigger cushion. So get me 5 more seats. So Greg Abbott calls a special session, not about the flooding, not about what happened in Camp Mystic, but so that he can steal seats from Democrats, so that Jazzy won't be able to have her seat any longer. It's important to remind people that in 2021, there was a bill, the For the People Act, H.R. 1, and it would have banned all gerrymandering, and every single Democrat voted for it, and every single Republican voted against it. Republicans want it this way. They want to use this to their advantage, and of course, there are some states, if you can do it, why wouldn't you get as many seats as possible? But the way in which Abbott is going about this has made people, even like Eric Holder, who runs an organization that is fundamentally against this, change his tune, because the California proposal, and Newsom has been out front on this as well, only has this happen for a few years.
Okay,
so
you
we'll
get
go
the
back
point. So what do you think of what she's saying? And my question is, how long can you guys hold out? Because I believe this is a break the glass moment, Representative. And I think there are people, as if they wanted, folks, they wanted the Democratic Party to stand up with Representative Al Green at that fake State of the Union, and they did not. I think people want change, and they want you guys to be bold and revolutionary and unconventional, because our democracy is at stake right now.
And well, for sure it's at stake, but there are some people who are afraid of change. There are also, speaking of black people, there are some black people who are happy with being the only black person in the room. We can't be like that. We can't have crabs in a barrel mentality. And let me be clear, when I'm the only Negro in the room, I'm looking around trying to figure out where they at and how I'm gonna get them in here with me, right? And not everyone is like that. And I think that in the Democratic Party, Black people aren't really always looked to. They sort of take us for granted. And I am trying to scream from the top of my lungs to my party, hey man, this is racist in Texas, right? Other things may not be, but in Texas it's racist. They are targeting Black people. They are targeting brown people. That is who they are targeting. We have got to say that. People see it when it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. People see it when you don't speak truth to power, when you don't talk about what's actually happening, then people don't feel connected to you because they know that you're leaving out something that's truthful. So truth matters. It takes courage to be truthful. And this is very ugly. I shouldn't have to be talking about racism against Black people in 2025. I mean, we have the Voting Rights Act and we have the Civil Rights Act that we got passed, but they're trying to take us back. And people want to talk about the world as they want it to be or as it should be, instead of talking about the world as it is. And I believe and you don't know this, I'm a 4-time United States champion. I was on the USA track and field team. Sometimes you don't have the best circumstances, but you got to figure out how to get through it. And this is a time where we got to figure out how to get to it, and to the fact that, oh, this is going to just fail because they got to come back. Now I ain't got to do nothing but die. You know, that's it.
Stay Black and die.
Well, you sure right, because I can't get rid of this, and I don't want to. I love my melanin. But the point is, I will stay gone as long as I need to stay gone. And I hope that my colleagues feel as convicted as I do. That right now, I always wondered what I would have done when I've been walking on the the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Would I have been willing to walk for over a year with the Montgomery bus boycott? And you know what? Now is our civil rights moment, people. You hear about Dr. King, you hear about John Lewis, and Malcolm X. You wonder what you would do. Now is the time, man. It's time to do what you got to do or get off the pot, right? And now is the time. We got to stand in the gap. And the problem with Black folks after integration is we got comfortable. At least during segregation, we knew that they would lynch us, that they would kill us, that we didn't have civil rights, and that the only people we could depend on was ourselves. And then integration happened and everybody thought they accept us. They don't accept us. They are showing us who they are. We should believe them. And we better have the courage to stand up. Otherwise, we will fall for anything. And in this country, we will be defeated, deported. I mean, we will lose all of our rights. And if you think it can't happen, it can. And I will liken this to the Holocaust. People are like, well, how did the Holocaust happen? How was somebody in a position to kill all them people? Well, good people remain silent. Or good people didn't realize that what happens to them can very soon happen to me or somebody I love. And so even if you made it, man, you have an obligation to help people who can't, because God forbid they end up targeting you and your family.
Representative, do you have just a couple more minutes to give us? I know that you're very busy.
Yeah, I do have a couple of minutes. Okay. I love you, man. I've been waiting for this day all my life. All my life, I've been waiting for this.
I've been pushing this because, look, we are independent journalists, and I believe that the independent journalists are going to help to save the democracy, because we don't have the corporate overlords on us telling us, you can't do this. Make room for Republicans, make room for MAGA, make room for election deniers. And so we like spitting facts in independent journalism. So look, I got to take care of the sponsors. So give me 2 minutes and I'll come back and we'll discuss. Here's a word from our sponsors. Support comes from Wild Alaskan Company. When was the last time that you really trusted the seafood that you brought home? Well, I used to question everything from nutrition to taste, sustainability, until I tried Wild Alaskan. This is the best way to get wild-caught, nutrient-packed seafood delivered right to your door, and it is really good, and 100% wild-caught, never farmed, no antibiotics, no GMOs, no additives, just clean, real fish that's frozen right off the boat to lock in flavor, texture, and nutrients like omega-3s. My favorite, the wild sockeye salmon. Cooks up perfectly every time. Every order supports healthy oceans and fishing communities. You get flexible shipments, expert tips, and that peace of mind knowing you're feeding your family the good stuff. And you can try it risk-free. If you're not satisfied with your first box, they're going to give you your money back. Not all fish are the same. Get seafood that you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off your first box. That's wildalaskan.com/donlemon for $35 off. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. These days, everybody's got advice. Cold plunges, gratitude journals, digital detoxes, but how do you know what actually works for you? Well, I found that nothing beats talking it out with a real licensed therapist. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform with over 30,000 therapists and more than 5 million people served. It's easy, sessions are just a click away, and you can switch therapists anytime until you find the right fit. They've got a 4.9 rating in the App Store from over 1.7 million reviews. That's for a reason. Therapy has helped me clear through the noise and focus on what matters, and you can do it on your own schedule from anywhere. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/donlemon. That's betterhelp.com/donlemon. BetterHelp.com/donlemon. Thank you to our sponsors. We're back now with Texas Representative Jolanda Jones, who is in an undisclosed location giving us this exclusive interview this morning, really calling out the BS that is happening in Texas, and not just in Texas, all over the country, and especially coming from the White House. Representative, I want to play this. This is from, let's see, which one do I want to do? Let's play the one from Hakeem Jeffries.
What do you mean this is an effort to steal the midterm elections?
The Republicans in Texas already drew a gerrymandered map that is being challenged in court as we speak. But that's not good enough for them. So they now want to enact a separate map in the middle of the decade that takes 5 seats that are currently held from Democrats, including several in majority-minority communities around Austin, Houston, and Dallas, breaks them apart and tries to put them into Republican hands. These extremists want to be able to choose their voters as opposed to allowing the Texas voters to choose the people who should be privileged to represent them.
All right, Representative. I just wanted to get your response to that because we've had Hakeem Jeffries on. I know him. He's a good man. I need a little bit more energy from him. I just want to know what you think of the strategy because people they say that they are. Let me just play this, and I'll tell you why I'm playing this. I'm sorry, I'm being a little bit unorthodox here. Give me the Harry Inton thing, and what he says in the beginning here about the Democrats and the Republicans.
Yeah, it could make a huge difference. This, in fact, could win or maintain control for the Republicans in the House of Representatives. What are you talking about? Well, Texas has 38 congressional districts. Look at those that Trump won last year by at least 10 percentage points. Under the current lines, it's 25. Under the proposed lines, it's 30. That's 5 potential pickup opportunities for the Republican Party. They are playing hardball at this particular point. And right now, it seems to me that Democrats are actually playing close to the Little League Pee-wee.
So there you go. Okay, there you go. And?
So here's what's funny. We ain't playing Pee-wee. They still can't conduct no business. I think we winning. But hey, who is he? Is he mainstream media? Maybe that's it, because they put their spin on things. But let me be clear. We playing hard. We playing to win. And you can't get me back to Texas. And I don't know about other people, but I'm willing to stay here. And I'm going to stay close to my colleagues because if people get weak, I want to be there since I'm a team player to keep them strong and keep them where they need to be. But now we plan to win. And you heard him say this could be a game changer for the most part. They could take 5 seats. And guess what? We need to stop them from taking 5 seats. And Leader Jeffries ain't wrong. He ain't lying. They cracking and packing in legal terminology. They're cracking black and brown votes that are concentrated, that have the same interests like in the urban areas, and they are literally dividing them up and they're putting them up like a pie and they're stretching them out to where white people are in the rural areas so that they have the majority. And so the black people and the brown people in these cracked and packed districts will not have representation. And it is seen here where I have people calling me all the time from many of my white colleagues and my Republican colleagues' districts saying, will you please help us? Because my rep ain't listening to me. Like they ain't call me back. I go to their town halls. They don't even call on me. They don't listen to me. So we are being disenfranchised and we are not getting the services. And let me be clear. I heard the governor say that we're not working. He'll lie. He is a dirty, dirty, dirty liar. My district office, as we speak, is taking care of constituent needs. People got people in prison. People need their WIC. People need to get help with Medicaid. People have problems with affordable housing. People have problems paying their bills. My office is working. My office don't need me to be there to do this. And anything they need, they are welcome to call me. I'll take 2 phones at the same time. So he's lying. We have not abandoned our duties. And you know what? You can keep bumping your lips if your gum, maybe, I don't know, you got lips, you got gums. If you want to, when your lips are moving, you lying. And we know that. We see right through you. And this is serious business. And I know I hear that I speak very colorfully, but at the end of the day, this is very serious. And I'm going to say this one more again, that's Ebonics. It sounds very, very, very cliche-ish, but we are literally fighting for the United States of America. If you want to have a chance to have the kind of life that you are willing to work for. But the fight right now is in Texas. We were not paying attention in North Carolina when the Republicans racistly gerrymandered and stole 3 seats from the Democrats. So they have a 3-seat majority. Can you imagine if they get 5 seats in Texas? That's an 8-seat majority. That big ass ugly bill, it passed by 1 vote. Had CD 18, Congressional District 18, actually had a congressional person, then it wouldn't have passed. So y'all think Texas don't matter? Right now, Texas is a play in the game. Y'all need to get behind us. You need to help us stay gone for as long as we need to stay gone.
Another topic that I want to discuss, similar. And by the way, let's not forget, look, one of the big stories, this story is big, but also Epstein. A lot of this, he's trying to distract.
He's a pedophile. He like little girls. In fact, he like his daughter. He talked about sexual stuff with his daughter. Who does that, right? And how the hell he get to be president? I don't understand that. Like, who talk about their daughter? You know what? If I got a daughter and she cute, I'm gonna say, hey, I want you to be with this nice guy. I'm not gonna say, hey, I want to be. That's crazy. And I don't understand how America, the Republicans have gone so far off the moral high road. They have a convicted felon pedophile as a president. But you know what? That man told us, my supporters, I can kill somebody in broad daylight and they will support me. And you know what? They will. What has happened since he's been president, including the Supreme Court, including mainstream media? The media isn't even, you are, and Roland Martin is, and certain other people are, but the media has bent the knee to Donald Trump because they're afraid of him. I cannot follow anybody who is led by fear and not by courage.
Let me say this, Representative, you are an attorney. I mean, do you want to say allegedly or in your opinion that he is what you said?
Oh, in my respectful opinion, right? Based on my life experiences, based on my legal acumen. I mean, he said what he said, and he actually is refusing to allow the American public to see what the Epstein files said, even though he wanted the public to see what happened with JFK, since he thought, and at worst, JFK was a philanderer, not alleged to have slept with kids.
Yeah. So, okay. So I just say that because he's very litigious. That's it. I just want to say, in your opinion, and that, right?
Oh, well, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, for sure.
Okay. So let's talk about this because this is a distraction. But also, let me play this and then I'll get to the Barack Obama of it all. This is another from Fox. This is Jesse Waters that I want to run. Andy, and because they're calling you guys cowards. Here it is. And then Barack Obama is running things. Here it is.
Now, Obama told Democrats a couple weeks ago to get tough. And what did they do? They ran away. Do men run away? Is this how you get men back? Did the men at the Alamo in Texas run away?
No, but they all died.
They didn't. And that might happen. And that might happen in the redistricting, but they didn't hop on a private jet.
Okay, this is what I want to say. Didn't Mike Johnson close down Congress and ran away because they didn't want people talking about Epstein and voting on Epstein? So, like, who's really running away here?
Right. So I don't call what we're doing running away. I call what we're doing is reinforcing ourselves and getting the allies that we need is what we did. And it is a tool in the toolbox. It's really interesting that they want sound bites and they say things like that. But at the end of the day, we are, again, fighting for democracy. and it's a rigged game. And there are 88 Republicans in the Texas House and 62 Democrats. In no world does 62 Democrats beat 88 Republicans. The Republicans have quorum broken before, and we can quorum break. And so it is just super interesting that they're whining, and they continue to whine. Well, let me be clear, whining doesn't motivate me. I will not be coming back to Texas because you're calling me a coward. And I have a friend.
You're not going back you're not going back at all?
No, I'm not going to go back. But here's what's funny. I have a friend from California who said to me, why do Texans always say, remember the Alamo? Don't y'all realize y'all lost? And so, I can't fight if I'm dead, right? I'm going to say that one more again. I can't fight if I'm dead. So people always say that. They say, come and take it. Well, they took it, right? So my point is, I have to live to be able to fight another day. And this is exactly what we're doing. And they can't conduct business because Governor Abbott very easily could have called the flood relief first. He did not. We begged him to. So he has created this situation. And guess what? We are responding to the situation, to the hand that we were dealt, because they get to set the agenda. So we're setting our agenda. And at least for right now, we are strong. Again, I plan on staying here for as long as I need to. I'm certain we have the American public supporting us. And don't listen to what they say. I mean, they're all smoke and mirrors. When you pull back the curtain, there's that little bitty guy in the Wizard of Oz, and a whole bunch of stuff is little with them. A whole
Back
bunch
there pulling the levers and pulling the strings. Okay, speaking of Barack Obama, you know what they did with Barack Obama? That she sent a letter to the Justice Department, Pam Bondi, asking for a grand jury to review information to possibly indict Obama or members of the Obama administration or other Democrats. Okay, and so this was the president this morning responding to that and talking about Barack Obama.
You've talked about you want success, not retribution. The Justice Department now tapping a grand jury to look into the intelligence community's assessment of what was happening with Russia. Is that you have nothing to do with directing the Justice Department?
No, I have nothing to do. Pam is doing a great job. I have nothing to do with it. I will tell you this. They deserve it. I was happy to hear it. I actually read it just like you did. I have nothing to do with it. But what they did in the election, what they did in even the last election, but it was too big to rig. But what they did in the 2020 election is grotesque. I mean, that was a rigged election, 100%.
Okay, we can't relitigate that. We can't relitigate that.
No, we're back to rigging again. Well, you can use it because everyone knows it.
Yeah, we are.
You know what? A year ago, you would have been upset if I said it. Today, it's different. I say it all the time. It was a rigged election. It was 100% rigged.
We can't relitigate because it.
And I'm sure that's going to be brought up.
Independent sources, even your Justice Department. But then I'm bringing up Bill Barr. But even they decided that there were things that happened, but nothing that would have swayed it.
Well, they were wrong, and Bill Barr was wrong, and Bill Barr didn't investigate, and he should have. And why didn't Bill Barr give why didn't he give the Derma report? Why didn't he give that report, the stuff that's in there, that's all this stuff is coming out of it? Why didn't he give it earlier? I mean, why did it take so long to do it? And why didn't he give it? Why didn't they announce it earlier? Because it morphed. What happened is it morphed into the Biden administration, and the Biden administration buried it. So, it's too bad.
And look, all of that is, as you know, is BS. None of that turned out.
It's hard to watch.
It is hard. It is hard.
Why did you make me watch that?
I'm sorry. What did you say? What do you say to that?
I say what? First of all, whine. I mean, dude, I'm sick of your whining. Anything that's wrong in your mind, somebody else did it, and mostly it's the black guy. And so I can't listen to that. I don't take it seriously. And it makes me really sad that the followers of Trump believe that. Like if I were in college, I would get an F on any paper he wrote. If I write what he says, I probably wouldn't even graduate from high school with the way with his logic. Like he literally can't put together a cogent paragraph or thought. But, however, he's actually worse than mediocre. And he's somehow managed to be the president of these United States of America, which again speaks to white privilege. So for me, it's really hard to watch an idiot. It just is. So that was torture for me, Don. You're welcome.
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. But let me say, you guys, it's interesting to me that you say that you're going to stay there for as long as possible. And that might mean into November or December. that you would have to stay out of the state. How will people do that? And do you have a backup plan? Again, as I said, I think this is a break glass moment. I think that you have to be unconventional, and you got to be bold. You got to be a maverick. You got to lead. And so, you know, are you guys prepared for that?
Let me be clear. As long as the American public supports us, because the truth is we have offices to run. My office is running right now. My office is running without me being there. If my staff has something that comes up that they can't deal with, they will call me and I will help navigate them through it. So I can be away now. I don't have any young kids, but you know what? Sometimes, it's I sort of liken this to war. When you're in a war, you may go away and you have to leave your village to take care of your kids. That's just what happens. And you see all these videos where a child hasn't seen their parent in months and they do something at some basketball game or football game and they break down. We are in a war. So wars call for unconventional things, and wars actually call for sacrifice from families. That's how it is. So people only think of the military, and I want to thank service members. My dad was a Marine in Vietnam, came back not the same, and blew his brains out. That's another story for another day. I was with him when he did it. But I understand the sacrifice of families. My family, we lost my father to suicide. So this is just one of those times. I can't imagine living in a time with no voting rights. I can't imagine living in a time with no civil rights, but that's where we are. And so what do we do under this new playbook? We thought we were moving forward and Republicans are taking us back. So we got to figure this out and we got to stand in the gap. And yes, it's hard. I have a granddaughter. I adore her. I miss her. But I'm going to have to be okay with FaceTime because I can't come back to see her. Because there's not a doubt in my mind that the Texas State Troopers will arrest me. And if I'm arrested, I literally can't fight for democracy. So I've got to sacrifice. It is what it is. It makes me sad, but it is what it is.
There's nothing like a grandma love. I'm telling you.
It's the best gift ever. It's the best gift ever.
Is that what you're fighting for?
Of
Her
course.
future?
Don't you think I want my granddaughter to have opportunities? I want her to have opportunities. I don't want for her to be able to be deported. My granddaughter is half Indian. They tell me she looks Indian. I think Black people look like everybody. They're literally deporting U.S. citizens. They are breaking up families. I have international people in my family. I have stepchildren who are Colombian. So yeah, I don't want them deported. I just want us to have a fair shot. This country was founded on immigration. Why are immigrants evil? And it was founded on white people's immigration, where they came and stole the land from the natives that were here. So, yeah. And also, let me just tell you that America's support of us is giving me what I need, because this is really depressing. It's depressing. I miss my grandbaby. But it is what it is. And if we can stand through this and stay for as long as we can stay, my granddaughter has a chance to live the American dream that she's willing to work for. And that's what this is about. So yeah, I have to do this. I don't see any other choice.
Do you represent, thank you for being so candid. Do you have any aspirations for a higher office? There are people who are saying that you should run for either, U.S. Senate, U.S. Congress, or perhaps 2028 for president.
So right now, I'm the Texas State Representative for House District 147. And if you've ever been to Texas and to Houston and you've been downtown, you've been in my district. If you went to watch the Rockets, you were in my district. If you went to City Hall, you were in my district. But as it stands, I actually am running for Congressional District 18 to replace, to sit in the seat that Barbara Jordan, Mickey Leland, Craig Washington, Sheila Jackson Lee, and Sylvester Turner sat in. I didn't talk about that because I'm a state representative right now. But yes, if people want to support me to be in Congress, I'm running for Congress. And you go to www.jolandajones.com. Let me tell you how to spell my name. It's a Black name. And y'all can thank my mama for it. My mother liked Yolanda. My daddy's name is John. Take away the Y, add a J, because she wanted me to have his initials. So I have my father's initials. It's JolandaJones.com. So
Look on the screen.
I'm actually running for Congress.
Yeah.
So in any case, for CD 18, there's a special election in November. But yeah, but
No, you can run, but here you might win running from wherever you're.
I mean, well, they've gerrymandered maps for congressional district 18, which is what I'm running for, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Just like you were talking about, Don, how they were telling you with the mainstream media, you can't put, like, you got to try to keep these people or that people, and we don't want to alienate these people. That's the same thing. Some people are telling me, Jolanda, you got to try. Look, I am who I am. I'm from the hood. I'm a hood girl who had my village around me. They supported me. I got my grades. I ended up being a really good athlete, winning like 4 United States championships, and I paid attention. And so I'm here and I'm running. And let me be clear. One of the reasons I fight, people don't know my story. I was with my dad when he blew his brains out. I was with him. I have had a whole bunch of counseling to get through that because it's traumatic. We've been evicted. Our house burned down because we didn't have electricity. We were using candles. We lived in like 12 different places from 9th grade to 12th grade. I was so embarrassed of how I lived. And so I was on free and reduced lunch. So people see me now and they like, you got it. And let me be clear. I will never forget where I came from. Almost all my uncles went to prison. My aunt was murdered. My brother was murdered. My brother was shot 5 times, twice in the head. And I'm not saying that because I want sympathy, but what I am saying is I understand what it's like not to have. I understand what it's like when the system targets you. And I know how hard it is to climb up out of that. My mother like literally didn't own a home. We lived in rent houses and apartments with slumlords. Let me be clear. So that's who I fight for. So yeah, I've made it. And you want to know something? People can come for me. I will probably end up with a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. I know lawyers, right? People have already said if they come for you, we'll represent you for free. But I can't be content with who I am and where I am. I got to worry about the people who don't have the resources and the access that I do. And my grandmother taught me this a long time ago. You don't judge a society by how the best of us live. You judge a society by how the least, the last, and the lost live. And I am here to always stand in the gap for the least, the last, and the lost. That is who I am. That is who I always will be. And that is why I have to be here. Wherever we go. Right now, we're in this place. They might move us somewhere else. And when they say go, I'm going to be like, where you want me to go, coach? Because that's what I learned as an athlete, is that you get a coach who you trust in and you move with them. And that's how champions are made. And that's how like world powers are made. And that's what we just got to do. So I'm 10 toes down with the Democrats holding out to stop Greg Abbott and Trump. So I will not be Trump's pawn in no manner. Y también hablo español, aprendí en las escuelas. So puedo comunicar con mucha gente que no hablan inglés. And I'm not translating for the people who don't speak Spanish, but I'm from the hood and I learned it in school. And so I fight for a lot of people because I have immigrants in my family.
So you got your boots on the ground.
I do. 10 toes down.
Did you see that? Are you looking at the screen?
What does the screen say?
My fan. You don't see the fan. I got a fan. That's
and you know what? And I didn't bring my fan, but I got my wedding fans that I do. Hold up. You know what? The gays have to have fans, okay? And we got to know how to pop them.
If you know, you know. So as you were saying that, it made me think about it. You hear it, right? So anyway, look, I got to tell you, you resonate to me, and it's all really about family. And, you know, sometimes you have some bad times and sometimes you have some good times. I have my 83-year-old mother here. She's going to say, I'm not 83 yet, October. She's been staying with me. She's from Louisiana, and I can hear her downstairs. Every time you say something, she's like, yes, go preach. Yes. All right, baby. I love her. I can hear her out of the corner, you know, out of my ear. I'm from Baton Rouge. I'm from a little town called Port Allen.
And so let me tell you something. I always tell people, you can see my African, you can't see my French. We from St. Martinville and Grand Coteau.
Oh, wow. Are you serious?
So I ain't lying. You don't see my Creole?
Yeah, I see you. Representative, thank you.
Thank you
Keep
for
up
having
the
me.
fight. Please come back. Everyone
Thank you.
loves you in the chat. Some folks said that they are donating to you. They said, I donated to this queen. So more power to you. And if you need
Gracias.
anything, you know how to get in touch with
For
us,
sure.
okay? All
Y
right?
gracias a Dios y llámame.
Thank you. Muchas gracias. Hey, and God bless you. You're the best.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Representative Jolanda Jones from Texas. And she is running. She said she's running for the seat. And look, we love Sheila Jackson Lee. She was one of my heroes and one of my favorites, and we do miss her. And so let's hope she does some good, and let's hope the Democrats can hold out because they're fighting for democracy. We went a little bit long, but I just want to say this. I got a lot to talk about. There's still more. There was this crazy town hall that we're going to talk about, and also we'll finish up on what's happening in Texas. But first, here's a word from our sponsors. Support comes from ZBiotics. If I know that I'm going out for drinks, this is my first drink of the night. It's ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic made by PhD scientists to help you feel better the next morning. Now, here's how it works. When you drink alcohol, it becomes a toxic byproduct in your gut. It's that buildup, not the dehydration. That is the real reason you have those rough mornings. ZBiotics produces an enzyme that breaks that all down. The first time I tried it was before a dinner party with friends. I had my usual glass of wine, maybe a little bourbon or something. And the next morning, I was fine. No fog, no drag. So with summer winding down, beach days, barbecues, late nights, this is a game changer. Go to zbiotics.com/lemon. Use the code LEMON for 15% off your first order. So it's backed by a 100% money-back guarantee. zbiotics.com/lemon. Code LEMON. Support comes from Delete Me. Your personal data is everywhere. Your name, your number, your address, even your family info, and it's being bought, sold, and used without you knowing. Now, I'm in the public eye, so I've seen how fast private information can get into the wrong hands. Delete Me makes it easy to take it back. They'll find and remove your personal information, your personal data from data brokers, keeping you safer from identity theft, phishing, and harassment. It is fast, it's secure, and it works. Right now, you get 20% off your plan by texting Don to 64000. That's Don to 64000 for 20% off. Take control of your data and keep your information private. Text Don to 64000. Message and data rates may apply. Okay, everyone. Wow. Wasn't she amazing? Thank you to all of our sponsors, by the way, but wasn't she amazing? That is, look, I'm so tired now of pretense and, people sitting around saying, oh, you can't speak this way and you got to be all buttoned up and blah, 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 blah. We're beyond that point right now. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be combative and disrespectful. But we have to realize the time and on which playing field you are actually playing on at this point. And so I think she's got the right energy. I think the Democrats should be behind her. I do think that Democrats are going to be concerned. Oh my gosh, she can't say that. She got to do. We got to. We don't. Do you know? And then they'll lose if they do that. Now, Republicans are having a time right now in their districts. You may not hear about a lot of it, but you're going to hear today. And this Congressman, Mike Flood, heard last night. This is a longer mash I want you to play. This is what, first, let me just play the news report. Play the news report from the young lady that I wanted. And then I'm going to play for you the sound, a mashup of many of the people who confronted him last night. But I want you to hear the entire story. And this is from a local reporter. Local reporting is so important right now, okay? So if you are watching us, make sure you hit the thumbs up, please, okay? It is really important to us. Can you guys do that? Make sure you hit the like and make sure you subscribe. And thank you to all the new members who are joining us. This is what we do in independent media. We bring it to you truthfully, and we respect local reporters because they are doing God's work. This is a young lady. She's in Lincoln, Nebraska. She covered this. You'll hear her reporting on it, and then you're going to hear from the crowd. Here it is.
I'm Hannah McElree in Lincoln. Mike Flood's town hall getting off to a rocky start, with constituents chanting tax the rich and vote out Trump, one even being escorted out of the town hall. He was barely even able to get through his opening remarks. It was so loud. Helen Newell grew up in Lincoln. She told me she fears authoritarianism and wanted to hear the congressman speak about checks and balances.
Respect for the rule of law is declining, and also just like cuts to vulnerable people.
Others with concerns about how the one big beautiful bill would impact healthcare and veterans.
Tax the 1%! I understand behind this bill that erodes the very services that people like me, my family, our families, and younger vets coming home today rely on to live decent healthy lives.
HR 1 does, in fact, address Medicare. So my question is, did you read the bill?
I read the
And I'm old, so I've been here a very long time. I remember the Cuban Missile Crisis, which everybody thinks was the closest we've ever come to being destroyed. I don't think it is. I think right now we are much closer.
After the town hall, Flood spoke with media. He told us he feels he has fought for Medicaid.
We protected Medicaid. The president wanted us to protect Medicaid. I represent, as the caucus leader of the Main Street Caucus, 83 conservative, business-like Republicans that have come from legislators that know what the Medicaid program is. It's seen a huge expansion since the middle of last decade.
Even though the crowd was very vocal and often shouted over Flood,
now more than ever represents the heart and soul of the Lord.
he says his job is to meet with people where they're at. This will be Flood's last town hall of the year. Congress heads back into session in September. Overwhelmingly, constituents told me they feel Flood isn't voting with the best interests of Nebraskans. They want policy that helps them at the doctor's office, the grocery store, and beyond. However, it wasn't all bad, with some constituents thanking Flood for his attempts to lower the national debt. In Lincoln, I'm Hannah McElroy.
Okay, since I said Kendra McElroy, she's great. Okay, now you guys ready for the tea here? What's going on? All right, here it is.
My question is fiscal. With 450 million FEMA dollars being reallocated to open Alligator Alcatraz and 600 million taxpayer FEMA dollars being used to now open more concentration camps and ICE burning through $8.4 million a day to illegally detain people, how much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist country?
Americans went to the polls in November, and they had a choice between a Democratic candidate that had an open border, no enforcement, fentanyl, drugs, human trafficking. And they had a choice between that and a candidate that said, close the border, get illegal immigrants out of our country, stop the fentanyl, stop the human trafficking, stop the drugs, stop the crime, stop the violence. That's what Americans voted for. Americans voted for a border that is secure. And I support the president enforcing our immigration laws.
I have read a dozen or so books on authoritarianism and fascism. You said in Seward that you were not a fascist. Your complicity says otherwise. Have you ever spoken out against this administration and its Project 2025, which is a fascist machine?
Fascists don't hold town halls with open question and answer series.
There you go. So what do you guys think? Though that is what representatives and lawmakers are getting, especially and Republican lawmakers. Now they are going to tell you, well, that's all the Democrats. That's it. You know, they're out there. Their constituents as well. Not all of those people are Democrats. And I think all of them should be doing the same thing. And look, I get it. Ina Comis, you're 100% right. Epstein. Now, let me tell you what they're going to start doing. Because there's a story that is breaking that I'll tell you about. Okay. Since you're saying Epstein, you're right. The reason that people are angry is because of the distractions, in large part because of the distractions, because this administration is not taking care of the needs of the people, and they keep distracting people from the real thing that people want to know about right now in their own doing, and that is Epstein. I just want to show you this. This is the breaking news that is coming in to the Don Lemon Show. I just want to put this up. So this is the House Oversight Committee has just subpoenaed the Epstein files from the Justice Department. The House Oversight Committee just subpoenaed the Epstein files from the Justice Department. Now, we're going to get the Congressman Garcia. We're going to see if we can get him to come on because he is over. He is the leader of the Oversight Committee. House Oversight Committee subpoenas Justice Department for Epstein files. Okay, here are the names. Oversight Chair James Comer just subpoenaed for testimony related to Epstein. Bill and Hillary Clinton. One name not subpoenaed is Ghislaine Maxwell. Bill and Hillary Clinton, James Comey, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, Merrick Garland, Robert Mueller, William Barr, Jeff Sessions, and Alberto Gonzalez. Okay. So there you go. Okay. Now let me tell you, there's another piece of breaking news. Can we put the breaking news up that just broke just a couple of minutes ago? Okay. And that is, this is coming from Kristen Holmes over at the CNN. The Justice Department has an audio recording. Are you guys listening? The Justice Department has an audio recording and transcript of an interview it conducted with Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell last month that the administration is considering releasing publicly. 3 senior administration officials tell me. Okay, so here, I'm telling you, they are leaking this stuff because they want to taint and sully Obama and the Democrats. Okay, I'm telling you how this works. They just want to get it out there. Now, they're dangerous enough to move forward with this craziness. But that's what they're doing at this point, just as they leaked this Pam Bondi letter for a grand jury yesterday to Fox News, no doubt. Okay, so that's what's happening here. And transparently, God, they're being so obvious with it. That was the reason they wanted to interview Ghislaine Maxwell, is because they are hoping that she says something good about Donald Trump and in some way that she could exonerate Donald Trump. What information do you have? And she must have something. She must be willing to say something. Otherwise, they would not have moved her to a minimum security Club Med type prison from the big house, where she was in a maximum security prison. So you see what's playing out here. This is a woman who part of her sentencing was for perjury. And let's not forget, she was sentenced for being participating in pedophilia or for sexual assault of young people. And they're going to try to present her as a victim and a credible witness in all of this. The bullshittery is starting. And believe me, I would not be surprised that they move forward with pardoning her in some way, or giving her a lighter sentence, or telling her, look, this is what I thought about last night when I heard about it. She faces 20 years, right? I think she's been in like 3 years now. They may pardon her outright, or they may save that pardon when Donald Trump leaves office. Therefore, he can do what he wants. Nobody can say anything. But they put her in this facility where it's, hey, look, she's just like, it's like she's on vacation. And so they'll wait until Donald Trump leaves office. He will pardon her. And then there it is. And then she gets out. Old people be knowing. Old people be knowing. Watch for that to happen. Okay? Watch for that to happen. This is lunacy. Now, speaking of lunacy, I just want to play a couple of things here because this is outrageous. And look, Donald Trump is dumb. Donald Trump is a dummy. Donald Trump is an idiot. Okay? He doesn't understand how shit works. Now, I sent you guys, if you can find this for me, there's someone where this, I sent you Donald Trump, someone explaining to Donald Trump what a trade deficit really is. I'm not sure we put that in the system, but can we get that in the system? Because I want to show you just how not smart, how the person who's always calling somebody a dummy, how he has no idea what he is talking about. None. And then I'm going to play for you what he said this morning in a very revealing interview that demonstrates just how uninformed, how dumb, or ill-informed, and how dumb Donald Trump really is. He doesn't know about policy. He doesn't know how things work. He doesn't know how the economy works. He doesn't understand that, but he understands how to shape a story. He understands how to lie to people. He understands all of that, but he doesn't understand how the American government works, how democracy works. And that is the real problem as we move along in our democracy. This is the one that I'm talking about, Andy. I just sent it to you. And because I want to start it with that, and then I want to get back into the CNBC stuff before we leave these great folks here who are joining us this morning. So let me know when you have it up, and then we'll start from there. But Donald Trump doesn't understand. And that's problematic for all of us because he is the president for the next 3 years. I hate to remind you guys of that. For the next 3.5 years, Donald Trump is president. But I believe that there are some things that are happening right now that could change the course of the trajectory of his presidency if they just stick with it. And as we have been saying, Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Here's an example of how dumb he is, and then we're going to show that interview that was very revealing. Your jaws are going to be on the ground. Here it is.
But we've been ripped off for many, many years. The United States has been ripped off like no country probably in the history of the world has been ripped off for 45, 50 years.
If you take your credit card and you go shopping and you run up a large credit card debt, you're running a trade deficit with all those shops. Now, it would be pretty strange if you then blamed all the shop owners for having sold you all those things. You're ripping me off, you're ripping me off, you're ripping me off, I'm running a trade deficit. That is the level of understanding of the President of the United States. The trade deficit does not represent at all trade policies. It represents spending relative to production or earnings. We call that an identity. I teach it in the second day of my course in international monetary economics. Trump never made it to the second day. So he says, you're running a trade deficit. Look, they're all cheating me. But all that's happening is the United States is outspending its national income.
Okay. So with that said, that sets us up for Donald Trump this morning in an unhinged interview where he had very little facts about anything. Okay? Here he is trying to backpedal from harming our farmers in this country who were so upset with him, who voted for him. Finally, they said, you're hurting us. He realized that someone got to him, and now he loves the farmers, and he's trying to BS, pretending that he's trying to help them rather than his awful tariffs, which are a tax on the consumer and a tax on the farmers, rather than it's hurting them. Here it is.
Back to their country with a pass back in legally, and we're doing things that are very difficult to do and very complex, but it works really well. We're sending them back, and then they're schooling, they're learning, they're coming in legally. We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it? These are very, in many ways, they're very, very special people. Okay, go ahead.
No, okay, so.
Did you guys hear that? Now, what is he suggesting? Is he suggesting that people work so hard that they die? The people who are doing the back-breaking work out there in the fields, that they are somehow, I mean, that is some, I need a psychologist to explain to me what the you-know-what he means by that. It is, it's crazy. They don't get a bad back because they die. Now, he demonizes these people, but then he's saying it's okay as long as you're helping the farmers. It makes absolutely zero sense. That's why this man is unhinged. You're talking about Joe Biden's cognitive. I mean, what the hell was that? Here's Donald Trump talking about the jobs report that he was so upset about and that he had to fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Here it is.
Elaine Chao was on yesterday, and I know, she was, I think she was labor secretary for 8 years under Bush II, and she was your transportation secretary as well. And she said, the commissioner doesn't really even get involved with the actual minutia of putting all these things together. And there's no way that it could have been, that she could have chosen to rig these numbers to make them look bad. And these are statistical changes based on this antiquated system, and it's just a big leap to go to rigged. And then it also, Mr. President, it makes anyone you pick is going to be, critics are going to say, hey, he's picking a guy that's going to give him or a gal that's giving him the numbers that he wants. So it undermines confidence in the system to some extent. You had, according to many people, all the rights in the world to try to replace a commissioner when it's hasn't gotten any better. But that is maybe a bridge too far, according to most people.
Well, I think when somebody says the commissioner is not involved, I don't want to get into any arguments with anybody. Why should I? She's a very nice woman.
Exactly.
But when they say that that nobody was involved, that it wasn't political, give me a break. Look, before the election, I had this massive outflow of beauty for Biden. I mean, he didn't know he was alive. And for Biden, the economy was roaring. It was a beautiful thing. And I said, there's no way this is happening. It's going the opposite direction. And 2 weeks later, they said I was right. But even if you look at the original, the ones from the other day, the numbers were very timid. And then they announced something that made them even more timid on top of it. On sort of a reporting day, I don't know why, it just seemed a little bit more important than most times when they announced these numbers.
We talked earlier that.
What is he talking about? He's talking about Biden. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Anybody listen to this man? How can anybody listen to this man and believe him? The jobs report was rigged, he says. Do we have that one from CNBC?
And certainly suboptimal, but rigged? Where do you get the notion that it's rigged, or do you have any evidence there?
It is antiquated, but it's also very political. And, I had an election recently where I did very well, won every swing state, won the popular vote, won everything, all right? Won all the counties. It's, I think, 87% of the counties were Republican up. That's never happened before. And yet I had to go through hell. And just days before the election, they put out numbers that it was like the country was on fire. It was doing so well. And then they did a revision about 2 weeks later.
That's normal.
And the revision was down by almost 900,000 jobs. You remember that? And I said, what would have happened? What would have happened if I lost? Think of it. I would have said they gave phony numbers, and then they revised them a week and a half later.
Those were benchmark numbers, though, Mr. President. That happens. They do that. They do that twice a year. And it reconciles the monthly figures with, like, the overall numbers. And it was a big number. And obviously,
the numbers were rigged. The numbers were rigged. Biden wasn't doing well. He was doing poorly. They announced these phenomenal numbers 2 days before the election. And a little bit before that, always these great numbers. And you knew it wasn't doing well. You knew prices were through the roof and inflation was terrible. The whole thing was bad. But think of it. Then they did the biggest revision, I think, in history of almost 900,000 jobs. And it turned out to be more than that because later on they did another revision. And so they gave phony numbers in order to win the election. After I won the election, I said, too big to rig.
What is he talking about? And if you actually look at the metrics, you look at the numbers and the facts, it shows that the economy was doing better under Joe Biden. All of that he's saying is a lie. It's all bullshit. It's all pants on fire. But yet, his supporters will believe him. But all of that is BS. And so when Joe Kiernan, by the way, trying to push back, but he is trust me, he is a Donald Trump D-rider. There's no evidence of anything that he's saying. So when someone asks him for the evidence, all he's like, it's rigged and you know it. It's rigged. And then he goes on to something else. How does anybody believe? I don't get it. I don't understand how. Well, I do get it. The representative right. That's some racist bullshit. It is some privilege and entitlement bullshit. It is people being vulnerable, and it says more about the people who support him than it does about him, actually. I think there's another one. Is there another one where he's discussing the economy or the election or whatever?
Yep, one more.
Okay.
I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. You know why? Because people love the tariffs, and they love the trade deal, and they love that countries, and they love that
Not
foreign
true
countries
either. He does
aren't
not have the
ripping us
best
off
poll
anymore.
numbers
For
ever.
years, they
Poll numbers are
ripped
in
us
the
off,
toilet.
friend and foe. And the
Overall
friend
poll
was
numbers, you
worse.
don't. Overall
What?
poll numbers, you don't have the best you ever had in overall poll numbers. You do. I cited one of those.
I have the best. I have the best poll
among
numbers I've ever
Republicans.
had.
Among
I have
Republicans.
poll numbers where I'm 71%. I have the best poll numbers. Look,
Those are among Republicans. You know you've got.
No. Among Republicans, I'm at 94 and 95%. No, I'm talking about generally. I have the. Let me put it this way: there was a gentleman on Harry Emden yesterday on CNN, and he went crazy over how well Trump was doing. Now, you don't put that on because I think CBS is a shade. Actually, CNN's a shade better than NBC. I think NBC is probably the worst of them all. But if you check CNN tomorrow, watch Harry Emden, and you'll see about the numbers. But that's okay. We have to defend ourselves, Joe.
I know, but there are other. They can cite. Your haters cite polls that have you down in the 30s, Mr. President. And,
yeah, but they're fake polls, Joe. I had a lot of fake
haters.
polls. You
Yeah,
also had me in the 70s.
They're fake if he doesn't like them. Okay, so here's the thing, poor Harry Emden. They're fake if he doesn't like them. Now he's construing or mixing up different polls like on specific subjects. It'll say, well, 70% of the people agree with the president on this, and he'll say, oh, look, overall, 70% of the people like me. No. Talking about overall job approval rating. Now there may be some issues like immigration where a lot of people agree with you, but that he's confusing or misconstruing, I should say. He is confusing specific topics with overall numbers. He has no idea. Now, I do wonder, I tell you guys this all the time. I wonder if Donald Trump, because he wants to believe that and the people around him are afraid of him and they know that he wants to shape his own reality, and a good way to stay in good stead with him is to give him the bullshit and let him roll with it because it doesn't matter. Let him say it. They don't care. He is the messenger. And so just let him say it. So they feed him these bullshit poll numbers, or they let him believe the things that he's saying. So I'm wondering if the people around him are just, like, oh, MS-13 on his fingers. Like they tell him that and it's like, okay, he believes there's MS-13. Let him say it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So where are the reports and the deep dives, the in-depth reports, the books, the exposés on Donald Trump's cognitive decline? He's mispronouncing Harry's name. He's getting his facts wrong. He doesn't understand basic economic structures. So where are the reports on that? Where are the health reports about Donald Trump and what is going on with his ankles and the thing on his head? Like, where are those reports? Like, why the double standard? Now, I'm not saying that That's not where I would like to go as a journalist, but I'm saying if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If it's good for the Biden, it's good for the Trump. Where is that information? Organizations that are propping up and doing false equivalency, where is that? Where are the people, instead of reporting from 50, here's what, oh my God, this information is being released. The Justice Department is doing this. You guys know what the Justice Department is doing. You guys have read the reports. You guys know, you know the sound bites. You know what Barack Obama has said about it. You have seen the reports on the Russia. You've seen Russia. The ones that Bill Barr, by the way, they're subpoenaing Bill Barr. Bill Barr was the one who put out the report and then got to shape it and the narrative before people even read it. And if you actually read the Mueller report, it explains to you what's going on. If you look at all the evidence, you know what's going on. You know that all of this is bullshit, media. You know it. The lawmakers know it as well. And so they're going on with this crazy, through the looking glass, fake shit that Donald Trump wants to go with. One more thing before we get out of here. And I think, look, they have been criticized for bending the knee and going to Mar-a-Lago and meeting. But I just want you to listen to a conversation that Joe Scarborough had this morning. I know that some of you aren't the biggest fans, but just listen. At least he knows at this point, but for this one, what's real and what's not. Here it is.
Jonathan Ramirez, this is extraordinarily stupid. It's extraordinarily stupid on so many counts. If you look at the timeline doesn't add up. It's like when Donald Trump is saying that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton created the Epstein files. No. That all happened during Donald Trump's first term. You look at the timeline here about what happened and when it happened. Barack Obama had nothing to do with this by anybody's accounts, and especially by the Senate Republican Intelligence Committee run by Marco Rubio, who afterwards said that it was Donald Trump's 2016 campaign that created a, quote, grave counterintelligence threat to the United States of America. That was Marco Rubio, the current Secretary of State. That was every Republican on the Senate Intel Committee. After pouring through all of the documents, that's what they found. And when poor John Durham was made to sacrifice his professional career to go around the world investigating the investigators, he found nothing and ended up making a fool of himself. I mean, we even found out that the two documents that supposedly, fed into the Clinton conspiracy, that she was the one pushing this, actually was Russian disinformation. So, again, they know in the Justice Department.
Okay. I have to say that Joe Scarborough is right. Got to give credit where credit is due. More people should be doing that. Joe, you need to be standing 10 toes down on all of this. You guys know. You know what's real and what's not. You know what's false equivalence and what's not. You know what's dangerous for our country, our democracy, the society. You know. So thank you for your support of independent journalists. Thank you for watching us. You heard what the representative said, Jolanda Jones, that you need to support people like me. She mentioned me. She mentioned Roland. I wanted to add on Joy Reid, Jim Acosta. Thank you for supporting us. Okay, so check out anything you want to know about this program, The Don Lemon Show. You can go to donlemon.com. Go to donlemon.com and just play with this stuff. Just go click on it, all right? If you click on the watch stuff, there you go. That's our main YouTube page, and you can get just about everything there. Okay, you can subscribe. The subscribe button is right there at the top of the page, right next to my face. Then the join button, if you can become a member, subscriptions are free. If you join, they're very reasonable. And then you can click on the store, and that takes you to our merch page, which you guys have been loving. Thank you. My God, I fought it for so long saying, I don't want to sell merch. I don't want to sell merch. And here it is. You guys are actually participating, and I thank you so much for that. Also, make sure you check out D.L. Hughley and I, August 12th. August 12th at City Winery, okay? August 12th at City Winery. Someone is asking me about August 13th in the chat. I'll check it out and see. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, we are thinking of adding a show on the 13th because of demand, okay? because of demand. So anyway, August 13th starts at 7:30. Doors open at 6 o'clock, I believe. And you get your drink on, you get your food on, you get all, and it'll be great. It's great. And then look, you're going to pay that much for a D.L. Hughley comedy show. Or you're going to pay more than that, but he's going to do comedy, and then you'll get to talk about the issues. We can talk about all of it, family, Lemon Nation. So check us out, City Winery in New York City, City Winery in New York City. You can go and find the information here, or you can just Google DL plus DL, Anything Goes, episode 2, Don Lemon and D.L. Hughley at City Winery in New York City on the 12th. And I think a show will be added on the 13th if the demand is there, which I think it is. Okay. So let me just tell you guys this. Come on now. Where did you get this in the morning? You did not get this live anywhere. You did not see any of this. You were not this informed. You did not get the representative from Texas. You did not get that. You did not hear her calling him out on his actions, her about what is happening in her life. She misses her grandbaby. My mom is here. All she does is talk about her great grandbaby. She's a year and a half. Almost, she'll be 2 years in December. She's a year and a half, and she just misses her. She's FaceTiming all the time. Hey, my little baby, whatever. She misses her, but she's here with her son. I know that I'm the big kahuna, but I've been replaced by first I was replaced by the grandkids. I was cool with that. And then I was replaced by the great-grandkids. I'm cool with that too. Take some of the pressure off. But when the rubber meets the road, here she is with her old standby, her son, me, Don Lemon. And speaking of supporting independent journalism, let me put this up. We put this in our private chat last night, but I just want to show you what we're doing, okay? And here it is. So this is in Variety. You guys know what Variety is. It's a big publication out of Los Angeles. Sometimes they get stuff right. But anyway, we are grateful that they are focusing on some independent journalists, and especially thank you, Variety, for focusing on independent journalists of color, because we often get left out from the mainstream traditional media, and now we're in danger of getting left out, especially for people awareness and people supporting us from streaming. And so you guys need to support us. TV News Faces, Creator Chaos. As TV News faces creator chaos as anchors chase digital dreams that bring big bucks or return little reward. So here it is. The feature character, scroll through it a little bit, is this person that you may know named Don Lemon. And it talks about when I left CNN and what I've learned. They even mentioned our lemon drops and how we do things, what I've learned. And then the very last paragraph, guess who gets a big, huge shout out from Variety? That would be you guys. And it says, Lemon has no choice but to get revved up. He sounds energized. He isn't on traditional TV as much as he used to be, but he has a legion of lemon heads who want to hear more from him. This is all me, he says. I reap the benefits and the rewards. And if there are any negative outcomes, it's also mine. So thank you for helping me build this community over the last year. It hasn't been 2 years. He said 2 years in the thing. It hasn't been 2 years. It's been actually, a year and a half? Not even a year and a half. It's been a year and 4 months. Am I correct? Right? Am I right about that, producers? It's been a year and 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. It hasn't even been 2 years. And look at us. We outside. So thank you for support. Welcome to all of the new members. Like and subscribe. You know the thing. And I always tell you, let's put up that article again, the headline in the beginning. Put that up and show us the beautiful faces that are up there in the beginning, at the top of this article, because we're very proud of that and we should show it off. And so go check it out. Google that. Put it in the top of the chat. I think it may be a little bit late. And we'll put it on the community page.
1 second.
If you can put that on the community page, that would be great. If you guys can put that on the community page, because people need to know about it. Okay. And I want you guys to go read. It should get lots of engagement when folks, or the Variety should know that people are interested in us. All right. So we're fighting for the little guy and we're fighting for you. And so I always tell you, you can be informed without being inundated. You don't have to sit in front of the television all day and become outraged. You don't have to respond to every notice. My mom, all day, notices. I'm like, oh, Mom. But she's not screaming. She's not sitting down watching the TV, the cable news as much as I haven't seen it. I turned it on cable news and she's like, what are you doing? She's watching MeTV. This morning I went in, she was watching Leave It to Beaver. Later, she's going to watch The Rifleman. And then it's going to go to, what's the one with Ponderosa? I forget the name of that one. What's the name of the one with Ponderosa? Anyways, then she watches Gunsmoke, and it's, you know, there you go. Okay, everybody. Until I see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern time for Lemon Live at 5. Bonanza, that's it. Thank you. For Lemon Live at 5, here's what I say to you. Turn the TV off. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.